But the reality of it is, I mean, you know, the diasporans here, I remember training at St. Thomas's, and, you know, some of the most sort of complicated side effects of certain conditions is primarily, you know, ethnic minorities and our community. So I just thought, you know, it's time someone does something. Yeah.
And so you'll be covering a whole range of topics.
For sure.
Yeah. Yes. What can we look forward to hearing about?
It's quite a broad range. Everything from talking about our meats and smoked fish. And I'm not telling you not to eat it, most definitely. There's a few tips and tricks in there just to minimize risk of certain things.
Nice.
And we're also talking about happy foods, so foods that have a positive effect on our brain, our mood.
What are they? Please say avocados.
Avocado in terms of the healthy fats, yeah, for
Good.
sure. I imagine, yeah, you go, yeah, go for that.
Thank goodness for that, yeah. Good stuff. So we're going to play the first one now. What's this one about? Give us the headlines.
This one's called Born to Win. So I also did a degree in human genetics.
Oh, wow.
When you do that, you actually realize that food, diet, exercise, and everything around us can modify our genes for better or for worse. And so, yeah, this is essentially just an intro into that and telling us how to modify our genes for the better.
Lovely. Right, so this is Dr. Yemesi Bokinni with our brand new health feature, and our first one is called Born to Win. Here we go.
Drinking a cup of vegetable juice a day can turn disease-causing genes down and disease-fighting genes up. It's called epigenetics, and today you'll hear a bit about what I recall one colleague referring to as biohacking your body into submission. Our bodies have a profound ability to modify on the basis of what we're exposed to, and this can be done for better or for worse. Considering we pretty much know what can do us harm and have a great deal of insight into what can do us good, when you think about it, we're actually designed to heal. In the grand scheme of things, we're kind of born to win. Hi, I'm Dr. Yemesi Bokinni, the host of Daily Run Africa. Welcome. Epigenetics is a concept that there are switches which sit on top of our genes, and a variety of factors such as pollution, diet, and stress have an ability to turn them on or off, therefore either increasing or decreasing the activity of that gene. Take the vitamin folate, for example, which is commonly found in green leafy vegetables like spinach. Scientists found that when at sufficient levels, folate was able to turn down the activity of genes responsible for causing Alzheimer's disease, the commonest form of dementia. Epigenetics is the reason why it's possible to have identical twins who, as you know it, have 100% the exact same DNA, and even in conditions that are purely genetic, one twin gets it and the other doesn't. Or one twin gets the disease several years before the other, or more severely than the other. These observations show us that there are factors beyond just the genes we're born with that affect whether or not we do go on to show signs of a disease. In other words, in most cases, our genes do not fix our health-related destiny. As twins get older, their lifestyles differ, perhaps even their environment, and this partially explains the difference in the risk between them, especially for conditions that occur in adulthood. Differences are of course less obvious for conditions that occur in childhood, primarily because their diets and environments are still very much similar at such ages. I'm going to use the first paper I ever read on the epigenetic phenomenon as a case study, and show how these three components of diet, exercise, and meditation work on your genes to keep you well. Now, before I proceed, I'm a medic at heart. Evidence-based medicine is what we do. And I'm surely not advocating that you juice cabbage alone instead of visiting your doctor if you notice something serious. All I suggest to you is that there are additional factors available to help your body fight disease. Science has proven this. Why not use them? It was sometime in 2010, while on a break from medicine, I enrolled on a degree in human genetics. There was this one lecture based on a journal article which turned everything we thought we knew about our genes being fixed on its head. Here goes. A group of scientists in the US got 30 men who had been diagnosed with low-risk prostate cancer, which essentially means a type of cancer that isn't too aggressive, it's relatively stable, and was not going to be spreading rapidly. These individuals had not undergone any other form of therapy, but were monitored closely for changes in their tumours. The 30 participants were assessed and had their DNA from the prostate cancer tested before and after the investigation for comparison. They were then put on a program for 3 months which consisted of a low-fat, plant-based diet. This included supplements with fish oil, vitamin E, selenium and vitamin C on a daily basis. The second part involved at least 60 minutes of what they called stress management techniques each day. This included things like yoga-based stretching and meditation, what some would otherwise consider more like prayer. The third core part of the program involved walking for at least 30 minutes a day, 6 days a week, and all of this was done on a consistent basis for 3 months. By the end of the study, they produced some truly remarkable findings. On average, 453 genes were turned down in the prostate cancer and 48 genes were turned up. Of the genes that were found to have been suppressed included genes which had been scientifically proven in previous studies to promote the growth of cancer cells, known as the RAS family of genes. So there we have it. We are what we eat and do, and there's scientific evidence that what we eat and do has an effect on our genes, which ultimately has an effect on disease. While we're here on the theme of prostate cancer, I must be sure to add the fact that Black men are on average 50% more likely to develop prostate cancer in comparison with men from other ethnicities. And when they do, it tends to be diagnosed at more advanced stages of the disease. So please be sure to get yourself checked early on if you notice anything of concern. Until next week for more on this theme. Got questions? Visit our website at dailyrunafrica.com. Click on this post, hit record and send your message through. We'll be sure to do our best to answer at the end of the program next week. Now, this is the first episode of this new series. Many thanks for joining us. It's a short one and we don't have any questions yet, but I look forward to hearing your feedback, your comments, your questions throughout the week. Join us same time next week. Daily Run Africa.
And that was Dr. Yemesi Bokinni with Daily Run Africa. Some really interesting points in there. Now, he talks about genetics and what we and vitamins we should take and things like that. And you mentioned at the end about prostate cancer. Yes. And it's more common amongst Black men, 50% more likely.
Higher risk, yeah. And
when it's found, it's more dangerous and more deadly.
Well, that's often because it tends to be found at more advanced stages of the disease, and that's quite disheartening because it's almost suggests that, you know, if it was caught earlier, then it could have been treated quicker. But it tends to be a bit more advanced before Black men sort of present to the doctor to get treated.
And do we know why it's more common amongst Black men?
Well, do you know there are many different factors? It's quite complex. So some of it could be purely like a genetic risk, slight genetic risk that could predispose people to certain conditions, and so that's the theory behind it. Yeah.
Okay. So if people have questions for you on Daily Run Africa, how can they get in touch?
Yes. So later today they'll be able to sort of go on the website and there will be this sort of button that they can literally just press and record a message.
Nice.
And send it through, and then next week we'll feature those at the end of the episode and answer the questions.
And what's the website?
dailyrunafrica.com.
dailyrunafrica.com. If you want to get in touch with Dr. Yemesi, and if you've got any health questions,
on Twitter, Instagram, everywhere.
Okay, and what's your Twitter and Instagram?
So it's at Daily Run Africa.
Keeping it nice and simple for us at Daily Run Africa. You can also hit us up on the ABN Instagram and Twitter and social media. We're ABN Radio UK. If you've got any health questions for us, we will definitely put them to Dr. Yemesi Bokinni, and she will pop them at the end of her Daily Run podcast next week.
Yes, yep.
Can't wait for that. Thank you so much for coming in.
It's been a pleasure.
And introing it for us.
Yeah,
and we look forward to next week. Can you tell me what next week's topic is?
No, that's a secret.
That's a secret. I'm going to find out next week. Excellent stuff. Dr. Yemesi Bokinni, thank you so much. And we'll be back with more Daily Run Africa right here on ABN Radio every Monday on The Breakfast Show. All right. We're here till 11 o'clock. Here's a bit of Major Lazer.